Welcome back, Cowboys Nation and NFL fans alike. You are not going to believe the wave of breaking news that has just hit the league in what could go down as one of the most turbulent, earth-shaking days in recent NFL off-season memory. The Dallas Cowboys, a team always in the spotlight whether they want it or not, find themselves once again at the very center of the storm, and this time, it's a Category 5 football hurricane. In the span of just a few hours, we've gone from quiet rumblings to major seismic activity. Two massive developments have rocked the football world, one involving a potential game-changing trade that could bring one of the league's most feared wide receivers to Arlington, and the other, a retirement announcement that is sending shockwaves through not just the NFC South, but the entire quarterback landscape in the NFL. That's right, folks. We are talking about a blockbuster trade pitch that could see Seattle Seahawks superstar wide receiver DK Metcalf donning the star on his helmet and calling at&T Stadium home. At the same time, we've got word that New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr is reportedly walking away from football, choosing to retire from the NFL, effective immediately. Both stories are headline material on their own, but together, they create a moment of reckoning for teams, fans, and executives across the league, and the Dallas Cowboys stand to be one of the biggest beneficiaries or, perhaps, the most stunned bystanders. Let's start with the trade rumors out of Dallas, because they are gaining steam by the minute, and the implications are enormous. DK Metcalf, yes, that DK Metcalf is the name dominating Cowboys conversations from the locker room to the front office and across every corner of the internet. If you've watched any football in the last 5 years, you know Metcalf isn't just another wideout. He's a game breaker. A 6'4", 235-pound freight train with Olympic-level speed, a nose for the end zone, and a resume full of jaw-dropping plays that make defensive coordinators lose sleep at night. Now imagine pairing him with CeeDee Lamb, one of the league's most versatile and explosive route runners. The vision is simple but lethal: Lamb and Metcalf lining up on opposite sides of the field, drawing double coverage, stretching the field vertically and horizontally, and making life miserable for any defense that tries to stop them. It would be the kind of wide receiver duo the Cowboys haven't had in decades, and if this deal goes through, it's not just the offense that will feel the impact, it's the entire identity of the Dallas Cowboys. According to sources close to the situation, the trade is still in its early stages, but talks are heating up fast. Front office personnel from both teams are said to be intrigued, and while nothing has been finalized, the pitch is real and discussions are ongoing. Seattle is reportedly open to the idea not because they want to move on from Metcalf, but because they're entering a new chapter under a fresh coaching staff, with a younger quarterback room and several hefty contracts putting pressure on their salary cap. The Seahawks may be looking at this as a chance to reset their roster, gather more draft capital, and build around a different core. That's where the Cowboys come in. Jerry Jones, known for his aggressive style and appetite for bold moves, sees this as more than a splash. He sees it as a tidal wave that could push Dallas over the top. And you better believe, when Jerry gets the scent of a superstar who could tilt the balance of power, he doesn't hesitate. He pushes chips to the middle of the table and goes all in. Now let's take a deeper look at what this trade could cost the Cowboys. As of now, the speculation includes a high draft pick, potentially a first-rounder, plus 1 or 2 young players to balance out the cap implications and sweeten the pot. Names being floated include cornerback Kelvin Joseph, who's shown flashes of potential but hasn't quite locked down a permanent starting role, and defensive tackle Osei Odigizua, who's been a steady presence in the trenches. For some fans, giving up that kind of draft capital and young talent may seem steep, but let's be honest, superstars like DK Metcalf don't become available every day. And for a franchise that has spent nearly 3 decades chasing its next Super Bowl, the question isn't whether it's worth it. The question is whether they can afford not to make this move. Let's not forget the financial side of things. Metcalf's cap hit this season is a substantial $21 million. That's not chump change, even for a team with as much clout as the Cowboys. But Dallas isn't exactly cash-strapped. With some creative accounting, restructuring existing contracts, think Dak Prescott, Zach Martin, or DeMarcus Lawrence, they could create the necessary space. They might even include a player with a decent cap number in the trade itself to offset the cost. And with the NFL's salary cap projected to rise again in 2025, this could be a savvy investment in a 26-year-old playmaker who's just now entering the prime of his career. That kind of math works out pretty nicely if you're trying to build a contender that doesn't just flash potential but cashes in on it. Of course, adding Metcalf wouldn't just be about stacking talent. It's about sending a message to the fans, to the locker room, and to the rest of the NFL. The message? We're not playing around. After yet another playoff heartbreak, the Cowboys are done waiting. They're done making excuses. They're done coming up short. This move would be a thunderous declaration that Dallas is serious about winning now. And make no mistake, the pressure is mounting. With Dak Prescott entering a critical phase of his contract, with CeeDee Lamb emerging as a bona fide star, and with Micah Parsons anchoring a defense that's ready to dominate, the pieces are in place. They just need that one final spark to set the whole thing ablaze. DK Metcalf could be that spark. While all eyes are locked on Arlington and the potential Metcalf mega deal, another bombshell is exploding in New Orleans. Multiple sources are now confirming what seemed unthinkable just weeks ago: Derek Carr is retiring from the NFL. That's right. The Saints' veteran quarterback, a player who just signed a massive 4-year, $150 million deal last off-season, is reportedly stepping away from the game. At just 33 years old, Carr had been expected to lead the Saints' resurgence and anchor their offense heading into 2025. But now, everything has changed. The locker room is stunned. The front office is scrambling. And fans are left wondering what just happened. Carr's decision reportedly stems from a mix of factors: the toll of injuries, the emotional and mental wear of a long, grinding career, the disappointment of an underwhelming season in New Orleans that saw the Saints stumble despite playoff aspirations, and perhaps just a desire to walk away on his own terms rather than continue fighting uphill battles. Whatever the reason, the implications are massive. The Saints now find themselves without a proven quarterback. Jameis Winston is no longer on the roster, and while young options like Jake Haener are intriguing, none are considered ready to take the reins of an NFL offense right now. That puts New Orleans in a full-blown quarterback crisis and potentially a complete rebuild mode. But the ripple effects of Carr's retirement go far beyond the Big Easy. The quarterback market, already thin, just lost a veteran starter. That changes the landscape for teams like the New England Patriots, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Minnesota Vikings, clubs that were rumored to be monitoring Carr's situation. With one fewer option available, they may now be forced to shift strategies, explore trades, or even rethink their long-term plans under center. The result? A quarterback carousel that could spin wildly as teams scramble to adjust. Now let's bring it back to Dallas. On the surface, Carr's retirement may not seem directly connected to the Cowboys, but peel back the layers, and you'll see just how intertwined these developments really are. With Carr out of the picture, Dak Prescott's value just went up. Whether you love him, criticize him, or fall somewhere in between, there's no denying that Prescott is now one of the more stable and experienced quarterbacks in the league. That gives him leverage not just in contract talks, but in shaping the future of this franchise. It also puts added pressure on Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office to build around him aggressively and efficiently. If you believe you have a franchise quarterback, you need to surround him with elite talent, and you need to do it now. That brings us full circle to DK Metcalf. With the quarterback landscape shifting and free agent options drying up, Dallas can't afford to wait. They can't afford to play it safe. If they want to compete with the likes of the San Francisco 49ers, the Philadelphia Eagles, or even the rising Detroit Lions, they need to stack their roster with elite playmakers. Metcalf is exactly that. And according to insiders, Jerry Jones knows it. Reports suggest that Jones is actively pushing for this trade behind the scenes, urging the front office to move quickly while the window is open. And make no mistake, the window won't stay open forever. Social media is already ablaze. Cowboys fans are going wild at the thought of Metcalf in a navy and silver jersey. Edits are flooding Twitter and Instagram, showing number 14 streaking down the sideline at NT Stadium. YouTube comments are piling up with trade proposals, lineup predictions, and Super Bowl hopes. Reddit threads are buzzing with excitement, caution, and everything in between. The fanbase is locked in, and they're ready to ride. And here's where things get really interesting. The next 72 hours could be pivotal. Sources say the trade pitch is expected to be formalized soon, and once that happens, the negotiations could escalate quickly. With Derek Carr's retirement shaking up the quarterback market, teams are reevaluating their priorities, their rosters, and their long-term strategies. The dominoes are falling fast. If the Cowboys want to be the team that wins the off-season, they need to strike while the iron is hot. This isn't just about adding a wide receiver. It's about taking control of their destiny. So buckle up, Cowboys Nation. Whether this trade goes down in the next few days or flames out in speculation, one thing is clear: the Dallas Cowboys are at a crossroads. They can choose to go all in, to chase greatness, and to signal to the rest of the NFL that they mean business. Or they can play it safe, hope for internal development, and risk another season of what-ifs and close calls. The choice is theirs. But history favors the bold. And if Jerry Jones pulls the trigger, this could go down as one of the most defining moves in franchise history. Thanks for watching. If today's developments have you fired up like they have us, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should the Cowboys go all in on DK Metcalf? How will Carr's retirement reshape the quarterback market? What does it all mean for our path to a Super Bowl? Let's talk about it. We'll be here every step of the way, bringing you all the breaking news, insider scoops, and bold predictions. Until next time, stay loud, stay proud, and go Cowboys.